Hello everyone, and let's build a collection. Today I thought I'd go over some of the games that I happen to beat in 2024. I know, it's the middle of 2025. We're in the third quarter. Why am I talking about 2024? Well, when I first started this channel, I had great intentions of doing one of these at the end of 2024, but then I ended up getting pneumonia and I couldn't speak. In fact, I didn't feel good or better really for approximately 3 to 5 months, and this kind of went by the wayside. And then I was reminded by a friend who was interested in what I had played in 2024, asking me, do you actually play your games or do you just collect them all? And I do in fact play the games that I collect. And I went through 20 to 30 games in 2024, and so I want to build a tier list for those. So why don't you join me on this journey? I don't think I need to talk too much about every single game on this list, so let's start here with Age of Empires 4. It's a pretty good RTS game. I've ranked it as good for here. I believe I played this at the very end of my Game Pass, and I had a good time with it. It wasn't bad, it wasn't amazing. I really did enjoy the historical aspect of this, how they give you a little bit of a history lesson when you're advancing weaponry or changing any kind of the armies. It tells you a little backstory about things, so it was a pretty good game. As Dusk Falls, I cannot remember. I played this on the PS5, and I also play this at the end of my Game Pass, but this is a game I'd recommend for you to play. If you like an adventure game where you have to do a quick time event, or you're telling the story, or you're deciding what to say next, As Dusk Falls was really good. It was kind of shocking in some ways, a little bit violent in other ways, but a really good story overall. This is one that I would consider going back and playing a second or third time, seeing how much I could alter the story. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I didn't dislike the game. I put it into meh, mostly because I enjoyed the playthrough. I only play single player campaign stories in Call of Duty games. It wasn't bad, but when I had just played a few of the other ones, which you're going to see on this list, and this was in the middle of that run, there's other ones to play that are better. I would recommend that you play it if you like single player FPS, but it's not one that you're probably going to go back to. Unlike this one, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, I loved this. I thought this had a really good story to it. It was a bit twisted in ways. I fell in love with this one. It was definitely the first Call of Duty that I played on the PS5 compared to the PS4. While graphically I find the 4 and the 5 to be very similar, the storytelling in this was really good for a Call of Duty game. Definitely recommend giving it a try. I think I played Call of Duty Modern Warfare right before Advanced Warfare, and that's probably why I gave Advanced Warfare a meh. Compared to Modern Warfare, which I recommend playing, this was just as good as playing through the original Modern Warfare that I remember when I was much younger. Definitely give Call of Duty Modern Warfare a shot. Again, single player campaign is all that I'm judging with this. And then we have Modern Warfare 2. This is a good game. Definitely not a bad game or a meh game, but a good game. I feel that Cold War and Modern Warfare was better than this one. And I don't know if it's because the gameplay was lacking, or if I was just starting to burn out on playing the Call of Duty games back to back to back. But Modern Warfare 2 is a good game. Give it a try if you like single player campaign. Call of Duty Vanguard was a great story-based Call of Duty. I had a lot of fun with this one, playing each of the different mission types for each of the different characters involved, and learning a little bit about their backstory and seeing how it all pulls together. It has kind of an A-team vibe, if you will, if you go ahead and play this one. Definitely a great Call of Duty campaign. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I put this in meh, and I'm really torn about putting it there, because this is one of the games that I bought brand new last year. I don't normally pre-order or buy games new on day one, and I did with this, taking a chance that everyone's saying this is just like the Budokai Tenkaichi series. You gotta get back into Sparking Zero, it's gonna be the next greatest thing. Now keep in mind, I don't play things online, so I had no intentions of playing competitively multiplayer, but I was really wanting to get in on the story with this, and I found it a bit lacking. I found the gameplay a bit not fluent, if you will. The controls not fluent for what I liked, but not the worst game that I played last year. I was just so let down by it, so I think this is rightfully going to go in a meh spot for me. Bit of a hot take here, with Final Fantasy XVI being my first must-play from 2024. I loved this game, and I know that some people just were disappointed because it wasn't turn-based anymore. But I had just come off of playing Final Fantasy 15 the year before, and I liked it too. I did not like it originally, but then I fell in love with it. And the gameplay was a lot of fun, and I grew into it. And so I felt right at home with playing 16. I love the main character, Clive. I think he's fantastic. The story was great. I loved Final Fantasy 16. It's one of the only games that I've ever actually purchased DLC content for after purchasing the game. I liked it that much. And I know a lot of people don't enjoy it, but for me, Final Fantasy 16 may be a top 3 Final Fantasy game. I think somewhere around Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, and maybe Final Fantasy 16 right after that. I know, hot take, but I really liked Final Fantasy 16, and I think you need to play it too. What's that? Another Final Fantasy game in the must-play? Here we have Rebirth, put it in the must-play. I had played this one pretty much day one when it came out. I was finishing up another game, which you'll see here soon in my must-play as well. But I really enjoyed Rebirth. Now, for me, I played Remake when the PS Plus gave it away as part of one of its monthly options, and I loved Remake. In fact, I went out and purchased a copy of Remake, and then purchased a copy of Intergrade later for the PS5. I fell in love with Remake, and I thought Rebirth was just as good. Now, I know some people think Rebirth is just the best in this series right now, given there's only 2. But I actually really liked Remake more than Rebirth, but that's not saying Rebirth is bad by any means, because I do consider it a must-play. But I just liked Remake a little bit more. It felt a little bit more of a tighter story for me, whereas Rebirth is much more open world, and I'm not as in love with open world in that sense. But definitely a must-play game. I think you should give it a try. Now here we have one that I would never normally play. Fist. Forged in Shadow Torch. That's the acronym, Fist. And I put this into good. And I say I wouldn't normally play this because I don't like Metroidvania games for the most part. And I don't know that I realized that I was playing one. Because it had been so long since I played one. And by the time I realized it, I was kind of liking the character. I was liking the world that they had dropped you into. Playing as this rabbit as the main character with melee abilities and special abilities that you pick up over time. It's a really good game. I did end up beating it. I might have had to lower the difficulty a bit. I can't remember because I'm not the most skilled in this area. But it's a good game. I definitely had more fun with it than a game like Sparking Zero, which I was looking forward to actually playing. And this was just a random game that I had my randomizer pick for me to play. So you might also enjoy Fist, Forged in Shadow Torch. Now we have the first game I think you should skip. This is Garfield Lasagna Party. It's a party game like Mario Party would be. And I've never played a party game before. And so maybe the Mario Party games are amazing and I just have been missing out. I also don't play a lot of Nintendo games. But Garfield Lasagna Party, while interesting, I do like the board game aspect. I might enjoy picking this up once in a blue moon and playing it with my daughter or my wife. It's not a game that I'm going to keep installed and regularly play to play all the mini games and get any kind of achievements with it. So for me, I think you should just skip this game. There's probably better party games that exist out there. Granblue Fantasy Relink. Gosh, what can I say about this? I love this game. To me, this was my game of the year in 2024. And when I reorder these at the end of this video, you'll see that this is going to take the top spot for me. I just know it's going to. It's a short game. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's somewhere around 8 hours, if I recall. You can play as many different characters. There's a huge cast of characters to play as, each with different and fairly unique styles and abilities, personalities. And there's an end game to it that you can go and battle some of the monsters and rank yourself up and learn new skills. A really enjoyable game. I don't even know how to describe it as just the right sized game to play. If you like an action RPG, Granblue Fantasy Relink is one of those sleepers that I don't think is talked about nearly as much. Truly love this. But for me, I delayed playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in order to finish some of the endgame parts of Granblue Fantasy Relink. I liked it that much. So I would definitely recommend giving Granblue Fantasy Relink a chance. It's my must-play game of the year of 2024. Here we have Last Epoch. Now this is a PC game, and I think it's only on Steam. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's only on Steam. And it's an action RPG, similar to how Diablo is, if you've played one of those, a looter, dungeon-crawling looter game. And it's very enjoyable. It's very deep. I don't think it's Path of Exile deep, but it's definitely deeper than Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 is. And for me, it might be too deep, actually, which is why I might only be giving it good. I've seen a lot of people fall in love with this game and get sucked into it. They might recommend it or make it their must-play. But for me, it's a good game. I put it in good because I do come back to it at least 2 or 3 times a year. So as new seasonal content comes out, or new dungeons, or any kind of a significant change, I definitely come back into the game. So you might give Last Epoch a chance if you're looking for something to scratch that Diablo itch in between seasons or when you start to get bored with that. LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. I recommend this game. Let's back up. It was recommended to me. I had kind of sworn off LEGO games. I'm like, why don't you play the LEGO game? You've played all the LEGO games. Why do you need to play another one? They either retell a story that you're already familiar with, or they give you a watered down version that you've already seen before, either in a movie or another proper game. And this did some of that, but in a way that I wasn't expecting. I hadn't played LEGO games since one of the Marvel games that came out on the PS4 when it originally came out. And this is much bigger. Much, much bigger. I had a really good time with this game. I'm very happy someone recommended it to me. I loved playing through all 9 of the stories, starting to revisit some of the old trilogies. Definitely give it a go. If you haven't played a LEGO game in a while, and or you like Star Wars, this is a fun one to pick up. Life is Strange: Before the Storm. I mean, I think this series has run its course. I really enjoyed the first one, and I played another one. I can't remember what it was even called. But I think this series has run its course. I have not played Life is Strange 2. I have not played, is it True Color or something, one of the more recent ones? I haven't gotten into them. I was kind of excited to hear that they were making a compilation that had all of them together in one purchase, but then disappointed that it was a download only for a majority of it, so I will not likely be picking that up unless some other service makes it available completely on disc. But Life is Strange: Before the Storm, not a bad game, not the best game, but if you've played some of the other Life is Strange, you enjoy them, you might give it a go. But if you've never played Life is Strange, don't play this. Try the first one, make a call for yourself, and decide. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. I enjoyed it. It was a good game. I played it over the holidays last year. And while I don't think it was the best game that I played, and I never have played the original one on, say, the PS3 or the 360, I did enjoy this for what it was worth. So a lot of people complain that the music was different. I don't know how to compare it because I didn't play the original, But I will say the music that they added to this was fine for the content that I played. But it feels dated. They modernized it a bit. It was fun for what it was. It's not a terribly long game. I would like to see them do something with this property again. I thought the characters were fun. I thought the premise was fun. But the game feels a bit dated. And I shouldn't really rag on that because it is dated. Things have changed a bit over time. And that's not really a bad thing. But to me, it's a good game. If you have the opportunity to play it, you might want to try it. Just Dance 2022. The Just Dance series is a guilty pleasure of mine. I love putting these games in and just exercising with my daughter, basically, or my wife gets involved and we take turns with her dancing. 2022 takes it to another level and introduces some much cooler video content as you're doing the dance. It kind of tells stories in some of these as you're dancing. And if you were to buy just one Just Dance game, I'd recommend it be this. Even if you don't subscribe to their online, I don't even know what it's called, the online encyclopedia of videos and music that they have, but whatever it is from Ubisoft. This one's definitely worth playing. It's a lot of fun and definitely a fresh take on the Just Dance games, which I've been playing since back in the Wii. Give it a go. Little Nightmares. I feel kind of bad putting this into the good bucket because it's not a bad game, but I had more fun playing other games like the Skywalker Saga or Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's a really unique game. There's not a lot of games that feel like this or look like this. One that I recently played, which you'll see in my 2025 video at the end of this year, is Bramble the Mountain King. Feels a lot like this. And I kept comparing that game to this, so it left a impression on me, a favorable impression on me, and it's definitely a good game. It's not too long. It's not terribly short. It's not the most difficult game. It's not easy. It's a really good balance of games. And also not too scary. But it definitely has some horror elements to it. So if you're looking for a fairly unique horror platformer puzzle game, Little Nightmares might be a good game for you. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And yes, the Game Boy Advance. Not a PlayStation game or a PC game for a change. That is accurate. I think this one for me suffers from being too old for what I like. And I believe that they've redone this for the DS or the 3DS, and I may like it more. And when I find it, I'll play it there, and probably forget that I even played this one. Though I do remember it was a good time. It's just one that took me longer to beat than I want to admit, so therefore I just wasn't drawn into the game. I played it over the course of 6 months, perhaps, and a game like that typically means it's not going to be recommended or a must-play for me. It's not a bad game. It was just one that I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the middle of playing that. Why don't I go play another hour of it? And so I enjoyed it. It got the good, but I enjoyed other games like As Dusk Falls better, or Final Fantasy 16. Those I couldn't put down. So on the Game Boy Advance, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, it's going in the good. Odin Sphere. I recommend this game. I played it on the PS4. I think it originally came out on the PS2 and has maybe appeared on other consoles as well and been remastered in different ways. But I played it on the PS4 and I found it to be very unique, very interesting. I loved each of the characters that you get to play as. The story was gripping. It's not a horribly long game. It's definitely not short. It might be a little bit longer than I wanted. Sometimes when you're playing a game and you think, I could really go for this to end soon. I think Odin Sphere started to get that way for me, as it felt like it was thrashing a bit toward the end. But definitely a good game. I recommend it because it's unique. I haven't played anything quite like it. So if you're looking for a good, I won't even say it's an RPG, I don't even know what to call it really. It's an action game, I guess. Action RPG, perhaps. You're going to laugh then if you know the actual classification of it. but give it a go. I keep saying that about a bunch of these games, but I think I picked a good batch of games to be playing in 2024. Okay. Shaq Fu, Legend Reborn on PS4. I enjoyed the game. All right, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but let me give you some backstory. I played Shaq Fu on the Sega Genesis, and I got it after I had completed, I don't even know, it was a second or third grade maybe. I completed second or third grade, and my mom took me to Toys R Us, and I purchased Shaq Fu on the Sega Genesis, which is a fighting game, like Mortal Kombat style, Street Fighter style fighting game. Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is a beat-em-up game, and I think this is much better than the original fighting game that I loved. But compared to other games on the list, even Fist for me, or Just Dance 2022, I'd rather play those than the Shaq Fu game. There's an absolutely hilarious part that I don't want to spoil toward the end, where you get some extra bonus content. It's a fun game. I mean, I wouldn't say skip it, but if you've got some better options, play those. But I don't think you're going to hate the game if you play it. It's just, compared to some other games. Strangers of Paradise, a Final Fantasy story. This is a good game. And as I'm playing through it, I don't even know if I want to say too much about this. I started to realize where this fits into Final Fantasy. And I'm not sure if that's public knowledge or if that's comes right out in the story and tells you that. You just kind of figure it out or not. But as I'm playing it, I realized I could kind of breeze through certain areas or just play things a little bit more default and not really get into the actual build of my characters. But I just enjoyed the combat. It was fun. It was kind of a mindless, fun game for me. And so for this, I'm going to rank it good, but with the understanding that this feels very different from any Final Fantasy game you may have ever played. That includes a game that I don't like, Type 0. Final Fantasy Type 0, I don't enjoy that game. This feels much different from any Final Fantasies. And not in a bad way, just different. You could almost call this some other IP or property and still be a good game. So the fact that they put Final Fantasy onto it and they tied the story into the Final Fantasy universe, I think you need to like Final Fantasy to appreciate the story, but you just need to like action RPGs to enjoy the game as a whole. Tales of Berseria. This is the first Tales game that I've ever played, and I chose it specifically as the randomizer chose a Tales game for me, and I don't remember if it was Arise or if it was Symphonia, but it chose a Tales game for me. I said, I'm going to respect the randomizer, but I'm going to pick the Tales game. And I'd heard good things about Berseria. Some people had said, this is a really good one to start on. The characters were fairly likable, the system, the combat was fairly good to get you into Tales games. The story was long enough, but not drag you out too long. It was quite long, actually. I don't remember how long it took me to beat this, but it was quite long. And I'm glad I did. Tales of Berseria is a game that I can definitely recommend to people who are looking for a fun action RPG. At times, though, it did feel like I was just mashing the buttons to beat the characters to beat the enemies at the end of the game as I was becoming quite powerful. But I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed where they were taking things. The graphics don't feel amazing or anything, but the story really carries it through. So if you've never played a Tales game, or you've been hoping to get into another Tales game that you haven't played yet, Tales of Berseria is definitely one that I would recommend. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants Unleashed. This is a meh game. And that's not to say that I disliked the game. I remember getting this, I had just gotten back from a fall vacation last year, getting this, and I played straight through. I was very excited to play it. Once I got into it, I thought the art style was pretty good. The combat felt pretty good. The story felt meh, and I think that's where I'm placing this, because I am mostly a story kind of a player, and it's just meh. I'd like to see more from this particular art or developer, though. I think they have potential to put out a good game. Not that this is a bad game. Like I said, if you like Turtles, you might enjoy this game. It's a good take on the new style of Turtles that's out there. It's just not a great Turtles game, if that makes sense. Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. This is a boomer shooter. Those games that kind of look like they came from the days of Wolfenstein, Doom, Rise of the Triad, those old shooter games, they're called boomer shooters. Now, Bolt Gun, I think, is anything but for boomers. I think the older you get, the harder this game is going to be. You need to move quick. There's a decent amount of puzzles. There's fast shooting action in this game. And I love the 40K series. So this was right up my alley to be able to play as a Space Marine with a bolt gun, among many other weapons at my disposal. I had a good time with this game. This is a must-play for me. I love 40K. I don't play the tabletop game. I just play the video games. And I love 40K. My first introduction to 40K was with the original Space Marine game on the PS3. I believe it was one that they gave away with the original PS Plus introduction. And that just set it off for me. Loved 40K since then. And if you like shooters, if you like 40K, if you like boomer shooters in particular, you're going to enjoy Bolt Gun. I highly recommend this as a must-play and one of my top games of 2024. Now, in the good section, we have 40K Inquisitor, which I also really enjoyed. But I liked some other games more. They just found me more fun. It was really, what did I come back to and want to play? And while I wanted to play this one, I would have wanted to play other games first. And so this plays a lot like a Diablo game or Last Epoch, as I mentioned here, which I love, these dungeon crawling, looter type of games. The difference here is it's a little bit more strategic. And so you need to find cover. You can't just run and gun your way through the entire thing. There might be a class that can do that, but the classes that I played as were not adept at doing that. You can use different types of weaponry, so I would use something like flamethrower if I wanted to take out certain types of enemies, and then I change to a chain gun or some kind of a melee weapon, or a chain sword with a shield if I wanted to plow through tougher enemies maybe. And so it's a much more strategic looter action RPG. Really fun game. If you like Diablo types of games, if you like 40K, I think you'll find this one fun. It's a slower pace, but it's intentionally slower. It's not meant to be, can you kill 1,000 enemies in 5 minutes? It's meant to be a slower game, more methodical and strategic game. So I definitely enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed some other games a little bit more. And speaking of enjoying games a little bit more, we got Space Marine 2. This is another game that I purchased on day one. When this came into the mail, I immediately played it, and I played straight through it. It is not long. I didn't realize that it was likely going to be more of an online kind of a game. It has a great campaign. If you buy it now used at a discount and play the campaign, I do not think you're going to be disappointed. I recommend this game to play. It has great melee combat, great ranged combat, a great story. The environments are so good. The game feels great. It looks great. The swarms of hordes of enemies feels great. But Space Marine 2, I don't know if it really took off or if it's going to become a cult classic the way the first one is or did. But it's a really good game. And if you can find it today on a discount, used or new, give it a go. I really think that most people would enjoy playing this. It does take some skill to get up on the higher levels, but if you just want to play through on a lower level, not even dig into the online aspects of it and get through the campaign, it's totally doable, and a great time at that. So I have now reordered the entire list, and when I was just putting them in there, I was just putting them in the categories. I have now reordered them. My top 5 games of the year would be Granblue Fantasy Relink, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun, and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And then it just goes down the list from there. I just wanted to show what I think was my favorite games of the year. And you can see that when I pick a game or when I buy a game, let's just say when I buy a game, I intend to play it. And also when I buy a game, I'm only going to be buying games I think I'm going to enjoy. I do not want to play every single game that exists out there. I have no intentions of purchasing every single game that exists out there because the majority of them are garbage that I do not want to play. And even some of these meh games like Shaq Fu or the Turtles game, I'm not sad that I played them. I thought they were fun. But Life is Strange or Garfield, kind of a waste of time. And I didn't spend a ton of time in either one of them. I probably spent, I want to say 6 to 8 hours in Life is Strange and maybe 2 hours in the Garfield game. So not a ton of time wasted. But when you're building a collection, you might want to consider that as well. Do you really want the complete set of everything? Or do you want to go for just what you think you might complete and what you might actually enjoy playing? Because at some point in time, space is going to be a consideration for you. It wasn't for me at first. I had an entire wall that I was just filling on a couple of bookshelves that I'd put in. And I thought, I can fit everything in the entire world on these shelves. They're not that big. But you quickly run out. And so as you go through, well, for me, I find that I'm just picking up things that I think I'm going to enjoy. Now, there are games that I don't enjoy that I pick up that I thought I might like. So, for example, I just recently played maybe an hour of something called The Book of Unwritten Tales 2. I didn't enjoy it. After about an hour, I thought, this is a little too slow-paced for me. I don't like it. I thought I was going to like it. I liked those kind of things when I was a kid, like the point-and-click adventures. But I don't enjoy them anymore. And so I've removed it from my collection. So you will buy something eventually that is not up to snuff of what you like, but try to keep those few and far between if you can, and have more of what a lot of folks call these days a curated collection. It definitely makes you want to play your games more. You could use something like a randomizer to pick a game for you so that you play games faster. And overall, it should increase the quality of your games. So what do you think about some of these lists out there? What about mine in particular? Have you played any of these games? Do you think any of my must-plays are skipped games? Or did I put something in meh that you think is the most amazing thing ever? Let me know with a comment. And be sure to like and subscribe as well as we go out there and build a collection together. So get out there and let's build a collection, guys.